Terry Layfield,
Tom Layfield,
Ryder Wildman,
Maddox Layfield,
Hannah Parsons.
Why is shopping like this? A case for fixing consumer chaos. Imagine you walk into a store to get something simple like milk, and instantly you're entered into a psychological maze like the universe decided to test you today. The aisles have been rearranged for reasons only known to their secret counsel. You're stuck behind someone walking at a pace usually reserved for snails. Someone else just forgot how to walk and is blocking the path out. There's an employee hovering behind you, and now you're on a real-life side quest, but your only prize is getting to go home with your milk. I, like any other adult, have plenty of experience with quests in different stores and have become pretty familiar with how chaotic the average consumer experience really is. Today, I'll explain why the consumer experience is a disaster that desperately needs a quality of life update and why that's important. Today, we'll look at why stores should stop treating people like test subjects, why they need pedestrian rules, and why clothing sizes should be consistent and not chaos in disguise. First, stores create unnecessary frustration by treating shoppers like test subjects. Consumer behavior expert Paco Underhill explains in his book Why We Buy that stores intentionally rearrange aisles to influence what we buy, even though he acknowledges that customers find it frustrating. A study in the International Journal of Retail and Distribution Management found that layout changes, crowd density, and staff behaviors are some of the biggest causes of shopper stress. Hovering employees also put pressure on a lot of customers, though it seems to be more common in smaller stores. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Retailing found that when shoppers feel watched by employees, they often feel uncomfortable and will even abandon their purchases, which is the opposite of what they want. So it doesn't really make sense. Nothing says relax and browse like strangers stalking you while you try to choose the better deal. To counteract, stores should switch to customer-initiated assistance, buttons, flags, literally anything so that you don't feel like you're being watched over like a lost child. Even if you get rid of your store stalker, you then have to survive the actual crowds. So, secondly, stores, especially malls, should have pedestrian traffic laws. Foot traffic congestion is one of the top complaints among customers. Surveys reported by Science Alert in 2015 found that 47% of shoppers said slow walkers are the most annoying part of shopping, which shows how frustrating and common this is. So, slow lanes do work in real world tests. In the same article, there's BBC covered research about UK cities that tested fast and slow walking lanes. About 30 million people said at the time that they also wanted lane divisions for walking speeds put in near them. Minimum walking speeds would reduce collisions and frustration. We don't have to race, we just have to not block each other. And if you think navigation is the ultimate frustration, just wait until you actually get to the clothing section, where logic goes to die. Finally, the clothing sizes are so inconsistent, it's to the point of absurdity. We really need a standard size system. Clothing brands can use wildly different sizing, confusing consumers. Business Insider reported in 2014 that women's clothing sizes can vary by up to 5 inches at the waist for the same labeled size, like this. 5 inches. At that point, it's not a size, it's a very loose suggestion. This is a super common complaint, especially with women's clothing. It also increases returns and environmental waste. According to the BBC Earth, using info from returns processing company Octoro, product returns create around 5 billion pounds of landfill waste every year, and that's just from clothing. Discrepancies both cause emotional and environmental harm, clearly. Brands should have to adopt standard sizing charts across the industry so customers might actually know what fits instead of playing guess the number. In closing, our everyday shopping experience really deserves better. Today, we discussed how stores treat their customers like test subjects, why pedestrian traffic laws are essential, and how inconsistent sizing can affect both people and the environment. Shopping shouldn't feel like a psychological experiment, a traffic jam, and a fashion gamble all at once. If society can create self-driving cars, rocket ships, phones that recognize faces, etc., we can figure out consistent sizing, non-chaotic store layouts, and walking speeds faster than geological change. It's time for a consumer experience update before grocery shopping becomes a competitive sport. So next time you're stuck behind a slow walker, drowning in rearranged aisles, or guessing your clothing size like it's the lottery, don't just accept it. Call it out, leave a review, send an email, or contact a manager. Shopping experiences won't improve unless we remind companies that we're customers, not contestants in a retail obstacle course. Thank you.